I go to the movies a lot, and when I leave, I have a lot of opinions searing through my brain like fire. These thoughts may be scattered and incoherent, but I think they hold value. Just as much value as thoughts that I've had time to script out, and I'm going to give you both. Porque no los dos, as they say. So, enjoy my fresh from the theater thoughts on Trigger Animation's newest movie, Promare. I told a few different people that I was going to see Promare, and the reactions I got were pretty interesting. For the most part, I've got, what is that? And then once you say, oh, it's an anime, that's when interest level shoots right down and your chances of convincing a buddy to go with you evaporate. The more polite version of that is, I've not seen a preview for that. No? I'd imagine you haven't. The best reaction I got, though, was from a friend of mine whom I told I'm going to see Promare, and her reaction was, wait a minute, don't you hate Trigger? And that's kind of what I want to talk about for a second, because it's fresh on my mind right now. I don't hate Trigger, although it could be misconstrued that I do, based off of different things I've said on my Twitter and podcasts, likely in other videos as well. I think most famously, I railed against Kill la Kill, although I shouldn't say anything famously in regards to myself, but I did not like Kill la Kill, and I was very public about how much I did not like Kill la Kill. And again, it's been years, but as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I liked about Kill la Kill was Bloomin' Crayons. I could still jam to Bloomin' Crayons. But other Trigger properties, I've thought, kind of ranged from either, like, mediocre, like Ninja Slayer, which is another series where I only really care about the OP by the Boom Boom Satellites. Like, I like that. The rest of it was okay. Kisniver was okay. I liked Space Patrol Luluco, but even that I would say is probably on the higher end of okay, more towards good. I hated Darling in the Franxx, so for everybody who was like, oh man, come on, you don't need to hate Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill is fucking Steins Gate in comparison to fucking Darling in the Franxx. The point is, I don't hate Trigger. I think my excitement for Promare is that a movie is perfect for Trigger, because they've got 2 hours. They have to tell a story in 2 hours as opposed to 13 episodes. So I feel like that's something that they were just like born to do, and they got a budget and they really killed it, because Promare is the best thing they've ever done. Even if you love Kill la Kill, even if you love Kisniver, and if you're fucking on the sex offender registry and you like Darling in the Franxx, then I think even you have to admit that Promare is great. There's certainly some elements of this that you can see the influence. Like, the main character looks like Kamina from Gurren Lagann, and he even uses a drill at one point. He has similar mannerisms, and he acts the same. And there's other characters who you're probably going to be able to pick out from other Trigger or Gainax series that heavily influence characters in this. And it's certainly not perfect, but I feel this one had a lot more original stuff going on in it. The characters were more interesting. The two main characters especially, I liked their dynamic. The way they worked together was fun. Their abilities were interesting. The overall, I thought the world was pretty cool, and how it all worked. It was a decently funny, good action. It was, again, Trigger's animation is second to none, really. Like, when I think of the studios that do really stellar, stylized animation, Trigger is up at the top. So, visually pleasing. It wasn't overly reliant on gratuitous fan service, which, again, was one of my biggest problems with Darling in the Franxx. I think there was maybe one shot. A lot of series tend to do this, where if a female character is piloting anything, you know, her ass is going to be up in the air. I think there was maybe one shot like that, maybe 2 or 3, where they had, like, one female character was piloting something and she had her butt all up in the air, but Even that, it didn't linger, which is really what the problem was with Darling in the Franxx, was these characters were doing that and the camera, like, here's butt, and the camera is just like pretend you are somebody's butt, and this is where the camera is, are my eyeballs. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on Promare right now. I'm pretty sure that me that has had some time to maybe do some research and gather his thoughts and really properly articulate things is just going to do a fantastic job. Promare brings with it the high-energy, big visual powers of writer-director duo Kazuki Nakashima and Hiroyuki Imaishi. Names that I trust I'm pronouncing correctly. I mentioned in my Fresh from the Theater thoughts the similarities to Gurren Lagann, and that makes sense because they both worked on that. Promare takes place in a world of spontaneous human combustion. The opening of the movie shows people throughout the world in dead-end lives. Awful jobs, stuck in traffic, dealing with other day-to-day irritants. As they get angrier over their situation, they burst into flame. Bright pink and yellow flames erupt from their eyes and mouths. Planes crash, buildings burn, people die. Sucks. These people are henceforth known as the Burnish. They have a mutation that allows them to control the flames. Kind of. Some of them just explode when they get angry, but others are able to manipulate the flames to their own advantage, either to use them as like projectile weapons in like a fire shooter sort of way, or they can summon mech suits that cover up their entire bodies, which can then also transform into motorcycles. As you do. Let's be honest, their powers are pretty nebulous. They're basically contingent upon whether or not it looks cool. In some instances, they try and explain it away, which is, I guess, good that they're not just going, yeah, no, my fire-started mech suit can turn into a motorcycle because it can, nerd. Most frequently, the Burnish are ne'er-do-wells that start fires, and all fires in Promopolis must be put out by the Fire Force. I'm not a devil. I have to be a hero. Oh wait, no, Fire Force is the other series about a ragtag group of firefighters that combat spontaneous human combustion. Silly me. I didn't know this. The first volume of Fire Force is called Fire Walk With Me. That's a fucking Twin Peaks reference. That actually kind of makes me like this a little bit more. Okay. I'm joking, of course. They're not called the Fire Force, although in this film there is a group called the Freeze Force, but we're not going to talk about them. The actual group is called Burning Rescue. Burning Rescue is a ragtag group of ancillary characters that don't matter except for the main character and the female character. And that main character's name is Kamina. Oh wait, I already made a Gurren Lagann joke. Shit. I guess that's out. Burning Rescue is fighting against a terrorist group called Mad Burnish. Mad Burnish. Mad Burnish is led by this guy, Leo Fotia. And he is a nice terrorist, in that he only kills bad people, and those buildings had it coming. The movie does try and stress over and over that he's like really a nice guy and he cares about all of his subordinates and they all worship him unconditionally, like a cult. And if you take out the bloodline aspect of it, his relationship to Gallo is almost exactly the same as Ryoko and Satsuki in Kill la Kill. Who worked on that again? Right. I don't have any Kill la Kill merch, because I didn't like that show. No, I saw this film in Japanese, because I'm a dirty, dirty weeb. And I thought I would have been the only person in the theater, but there were actually a decent number of people there. And in true weeaboo fashion, we didn't acknowledge each other's existence at all. Which was nice. But if you get an opportunity to see this film, if you see it in Japanese, or you could check it out in English if you so desire, I highly recommend you do. It was a ton of fun. I was entertained throughout the entire thing. It's visually pleasing. The characters are fun, funny, and yeah, just check out Promare, and way to go, Trigger. You done good.